phone is wonky, my phone is wonky. Hello, Laura. Hello. Hello, Mandy. Hi, Affirmations for Children. Hi, Joe. Hi, Glowfit. Hi, Jess. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Tatum. Do you absolutely hate it when I go into American, or is it okay? Are you okay with that? Permission to be American. Permission to be a spoiled American when I'm pretending to be the universe. A musical one. I mean, I would sing, but I really, really can't. And then you'd all turn off. That would be sad, wouldn't it? I have written so many notes, and then I wrote this course, and then I'm like every morning just rejogging my memory and going over what I'm going to go over, and I was just rewriting my notes. But today is my favourite day because it's nature. What a geek. But nature is so cool. And then I started reading something else, and then that took my brain over here, and then I was like, I've just got to get my computer out today because there's too much. So I will try to keep it short. My phone also, my ring light is holding you at this angle, so apologies. Right, let's get started. How is manifesting going, everyone? Isn't it nice to be on a secret magical quest together? I'm just going to tell you about how I also got even more into the secret. So when I was in my 20s, I really struggled with sleep. I had such bad insomnia. And back then, the apps were not what they are now. There were like some apps, but the free ones, you know, you stuck to the free ones. Don't be crazy and spend money on an app. Anyway, I downloaded the audiobook app, and there were like 10 books that were like that interested me. But anyway, I downloaded The Secret Garden, and The Secret Garden is essentially The Secret, but from the Victorian times in a child's book. And with your brain wants to know what's coming up next. So like if it knows what's coming up next, it will switch off. Whereas like if you're on social media, you're like, what's going to happen? I'm going to find, you know, if you keep scrolling, there's just constantly new information, and it's really overwhelming for your brain. So your brain's like, stay awake, stay alert. Whereas if it hears something that it's already heard and it's just repeated over and over, then it can switch off because it knows the next step. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm chill. Colin's going to do this and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I would fall asleep listening to The Secret Garden, and in it there are so many beautiful affirmations, and she's like, the magic is in me, it is in me, it is in me. And I'm like waking up like, the magic is in me, it is in me. Like really believing this, yeah? But anyway, it's bloody brilliant. Thoughts are like batteries. Oh, I should give you some my favourite quote. My favourite quote is from The Secret Garden, and we kind of talked about it the other day when we were talking about thoughts and feelings. Where you tend a rose, my lad, a thistle cannot grow, yeah? When you're having a thought that's completely pure and beautiful and so full of gratitude and happiness and joy, you can't simultaneously be feeling hard done by, comparative, all of those horrible states, jealous, in a time when you're like so full of love. You know, when your baby falls asleep on your chest, or when you're watching the sunset, or something, you know, that reminds you of being alive. At that point, you're not like, oh God, life is shit. You know, you don't have that. So the more you feed your brain and water that beautiful rose, the less thistles that are going to grow in your brain. That makes sense? Okay. So that kind of brings me on to this nature talking. Nature. When I was little, my parents used to say to me, oh, we're going for a walk. And I'd be like, oh, I don't want to go for a walk. And actually, it's just such a lovely thing to do, isn't it? Because when you go to the woods, you really do find yourself. So I'm going to start reading through my notes, and then I'm going to switch to my computer because there is a lot to go through, and I apologise about that. But this is so important. If you want to work with the source, like a lot of the time people are like, they view nature, what is going on with my hair? They view nature as being outside of them. So they think about like nature as not being part of you. You are part of nature. You are like part of this big planet and part of nature, and you are nature in itself, yeah? And we as human beings think that because we, go to Costa and we've got an iPhone, that we're actually not an animal. And when we're separate, I've got a house, I'm not nature. But the truth is that we are nature. And I learned this really lovely thing this morning. So I always think, like, when you're in like your friends at the end of a relationship, or you're at the end of a relationship, and like they're like, oh, I'm just going around in circles. I've always thought, you're not going around in circles, you're going around in spirals, because it always gets to a point, yeah? It gets to the point where there is no give left. But anyway, I was learning this morning that nature grows in spirals. Flowers, plants unfurl in spirals, shells grow in a spiral, because they turn constantly. Like the next cell turns the shell, so it like turns it, and then it grows in this turny spiral. And I thought, oh, that's so nice, that's so much nicer. And I always think, like, the shell, the point of the shell, the point of the fern, the point of the flower is always the lesson. But anyway, I'm going on now. So the more that we can get back to nature, the more that we can start to believe that there is a big plan for us. There's this number that occurs in nature over and over again, 1.618, I believe it is. But it is the ratio of this part of your arm to the end of your arm versus that bit. But it's also the ratio of male to female bees. And it's also the ratio of the hexagon that they make in their little bee nest. And it's also like the Fibonacci sequence is also the number of petals on a flower. And it's just like this number just occurs over and over and over and over again in nature. And if that isn't divine, if that isn't beautiful, if that isn't something bigger than all of us, what the hell is, But I love this like golden web that we're all creating between us anyway. So every time you're manifesting, every time you're asking for something, you're not just the only person asking for it. Everyone on these lives are all simultaneously having the same thoughts, and our brains are like starting to knit together, because of course there is this big golden web between us all. There must be. Like we just can't see it, right? We pull a little thread and the web comes back to us. But anyway, understand this. Your body is made up of cells, which are essentially just vibrating particles, yeah? When you like someone's energy and you're like, oh my God, she's got really great energy, or you're like, your body, yeah, as a electrically charged little vibrating thing, yeah, if you go and put your feet on the earth, it changes your body's biochemistry within 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, your blood will have more oxygen running around it, and you'll be earthing yourself. You're positively charging your body, because the planet is one huge electromagnet, yeah? It's got a north and a south pole, and it is full of these same particles, yeah? So you're actually physically charging your body. I wear slippers all winter, but I'm barefoot all summer. And if you've ever walked anywhere and wanted to just touch some, pulled some grass off, or wanted to take your shoes off, or put your feet in the sea, or needed to go to the sea, or needed to go and just look at the moon or look at a sunset, that is your body's innate way of saying, get to nature, girl, get to nature, because you need to be reminded of who you are. And if you ever feel like, I'm completely lost, I'm completely overwhelmed, I don't know who I am anymore, I don't even know myself, take yourself to the woods, take yourself to the sea, take yourself to the beach, whatever it might be, put your feet on the ground, look up at the sky, and remember that this is all part of a big picture, and this is your spiral, yeah? You're on your little spiral quest of opening your next thing, and then you'll have learnt the lesson, and then it's a lovely shell that you've collected. This is my lesson, this is my shell, you get that, yeah? So, that is part of your homework, to find a place locally to you that you can stand and you can earth yourself. Sort your energy out, sort your physical energy out, because it will change how you manifest, and it will change you feeling separate to nature to you feeling like connected, because you're not just connecting to nature, you're connecting to yourself. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit intense there. I feel very passionate about this. La 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 la, charging your particles. It is the most powerful force on the world, nature. When we are all gone, when we've completely fucked the planet up, yeah, which hopefully will not be in our lifetime or our children's lifetime if we start sorting our stuff out. But even when humans aren't going to exist, nature will find a way. You've all seen those lovely pictures of those ruined buildings, and when nature starts to take back her earth, like, she is a powerful source, and she knows best. She knows what's best for you. So if you don't know what's best for you, trust. Go to nature and trust there. Okay, right. It is a bit Avatar. I'm sorry, babes. Now I'm going back to the computer, because where do we go from here, girls? How do we turn this into manifesting? Okay, the next thing, the moon. Now, some people are really skeptical about the moon, and I don't mean to sound like one of those people, but my cousin's an anaesthetist and she works in a doctor's. No, she doesn't. She works in a hospital. But full moon immediately means that they'll have a more full ER. They'll have ER. They'll have a more full A&E area. I should have just been born in LA, shouldn't I? But full moon, naturally, the reason that they're called lunatic asylums is because on the full moon, it would completely change. The emittance rate on a full moon would be so much higher. What is going on there? So the moon pulls the tides, but guess what? We're made of 70% water, yeah? And as women, I hate to tell you all, I hate to remind you all, but we also bleed. And a lot of people bleed on the full moon or on the new moon. They will follow a lunar cycle. They'll have 13 cycles a year. 13 into 365. There used to be 13 calendar months until, the Christians invaded and told us that we must have 12. But the moon goes around the earth 15 times, and of course it's going to have an effect on our body. Of course it's going to have an effect on our hormones, because if it can move the sea, then it can move us, right? But anyway, what I'm going to suggest to you all regarding manifesting is this. When you are asking for something big, and this is not the only time you can do it, disclaimer, you can ask for anything at any time, but when you're asking for something big, wait until the new moon, okay? You use the full moon to release, like what we were talking about the other day, when you're making space and headspace for yourself, but you use the new moon to set intentions, invite in, ask for something specific, yeah? That will be day 7, okay? We're going to do that, and we're going to do it together, and we're going to do it on a Zoom call, so we're all actually together, okay? Scary. Oh my God, it's so scary. But we're actually going to manifest together, because do you know what? When you have an idea and you take that idea and you go to a friend that is also a creative, what happens? It doesn't just double, it turns into something. It turns into something tangible, a plan, yeah? You start to, but what happens if there's loads of people thinking the same thing? Limitless, right? Anyway, so what I really want is everyone that does this course, I just want you to say to yourself that over this year, you are going to make it your ritual that every single full moon, you let go of something that happened within that 28-day cycle. You let go of something that's just pissing you off, that you just can't get out of your head, that might be keeping you awake at night, or might be like, I've written this message and I haven't sent it. And you actually physically write it on a piece of paper and get rid of it. Take it out of your body, get rid of it, make space for the new. So we're going to manifest hardcore 13 times this year, yeah? New moon is on Tuesday, I believe, and we are going to all manifest on Sunday but we could do on Tuesday. We'll have a little poll. I'll have a poll in a minute. But anyway, how much more productive will our life have been if in a year's time we've done that 13 times, yeah? So we're going to do that. And we're going to honour it. We're going to regain control of the manifesting. And what I like about that, what I like about the moon, is it's just so symbolic of women, because obviously we do bleed on the moon, blah, blah, blah. We invented the almanac, you know, we invented the calendar. And I like that reminder of this, you know, full moon release, new moon, new intentions. It's just such a lovely nature's way of saying, girlfriend, you're going to manifest this year. You know, I changed my voice then. But anyway. So, 1, your homework is find your nature spot, go to it. If you can put your feet on the earth today, it will be cold. It is bloody cold. Do that. 15 minutes, your blood will be oxygenated. What else was going on? Oh, so I watched this video on earthing, right? They put 2 plants, yeah? One plant was earthed, the other wasn't, yeah? The plant that was earthed, they left it over a time period, just had a little camera on it, yeah? And, you know, they come along, they give the water, oh, it starts to grow. But this plant that was earthed was like this beautiful, flourishing, full thing. And the other one's like, Imagine yourself like that. Imagine earthing yourself as often as you can. You know, those people that go in the sea every day, hats off to them because it is cold. But me and Charlotte are going to go in the sea, right, Charlotte? Right? And try and just reconnect to nature, because it is just so powerful. It is the most powerful source. Tap into it, use it to use it to ask the universe, use it to shout at the moon what you want. Tell it, you know, tell it what you don't want. Fuck off what you don't want on full moon. Invite in what you do on new moon. Do that 13 times. Your life will be different in a year. I promise. I promise. Right, I'm going to go now. 17 minutes. I set myself a goal of keeping it to 17 minutes. Right, manifesting. What are we manifesting today? A skull. Or a head. Like a bust, actually. A bust, a skull, a human head. Human. Has to be human. Okay? I love your energy, Tate, and I love nature. I just love it. It's so interesting, isn't it? And find something to manifest on. Like, some people have crystals. Get a crystal. Get something. Like, I've got like my wishing thing, because it reminds me that I'm part of a bigger plan, that nature's got a plan. 1.618, you know, if we could translate that into what humans do, I wonder how often we would be doing these lovely spirals in this Fibonacci code of creating shells all around us. Love you all. Have a fantastic day, and tell me when you see your stuff, and tell me where your nature spot is as well. I want to see as many nature pictures in my stories today, okay? Show me the nature. Bye everyone. Love you all.